Are you thinking of starting a business? Stop right there. Because what you're about to face isn't a dream of building a billion-dollar company, but sleepless nights. The fear of going broke, the sting of constant rejection, and the crushing pressure that can shatter your self-worth. No one cares how talented you are. They only want to see if you can survive your first 100 failures. This isn't a game for the faint-hearted or comfort seekers. It's a battlefield where only the stubborn, cold-blooded, and fearless survive. So the real question is, do you truly have what it takes to start a startup? If you're still hesitating, listen carefully to what comes next. It might save you from a decision that could destroy your future. Part 1. Core traits of a startup founder. There's no fixed mold for startup founders. No one is born qualified to build a company. What you see on TV, in movies, or books is only a small, embellished slice. Reality is much harsher and more diverse. Those who don't shine on stage may be the ones enduring in the shadows. The difference isn't in appearance or degrees. It lies in the ability to face reality and not give up when everything turns against you. This is the true foundation. The prerequisite to becoming a founder isn't exceptional talent, it's relentless perseverance. Doing a startup means hearing hundreds of rejections before someone listens. A good product isn't enough. You have to get people to use it. You'll be ignored, underestimated, and hurt. But if you can rise after each rejection, you possess something many more talented people lack. That is what keeps you going. Don't confuse confidence with perseverance. Some speak loudly, optimistically, and inspire others, but panic when no one uses their product. Others are quiet, reserved, even shy, but steadily weather every storm. Perseverance isn't about appearances. It's about enduring stagnation, working amid doubt, and continuing to improve despite lack of recognition. The market doesn't care about your energy. It cares if you can last long enough. Startups aren't for the easily discouraged, nor for those who need constant validation. In the early stages, you'll work a lot with no one noticing. You must believe when no one else does. You must keep coding, emailing, tweaking pixels, even if only a few are testing and no one's paying. This is where people with fire inside survive, because not everyone can bear being ignored by the world. You'll be doubted, but if you stay the course, the results will speak for themselves. The key isn't in having one specific skill, but in a combination. A good founder doesn't need to know everything, but must be ready to learn anything. From engineering, sales, marketing, to customer support, you'll do it all at first. You don't get the luxury of one specialty. You're the multi-skilled craftsman of your own dream. Those unwilling to get their hands dirty won't last. The mindset of only doing what I like doesn't fit startups. The mindset of doing whatever it takes is what matters. Most important of all, you must be someone who doesn't stop. When no one applauds, when family doubts you, when those you admired leave, you must still move forward. No glory needed, just unwavering commitment. It's not the best who win, it's the last one standing. Startups don't reward the fastest starters. They reward those who don't quit. If you're looking for a sign to begin, persistence is the first place to look. Part 2. The truth about startup motivation. You don't need a noble reason to start a startup. No one demands you save the world or change humanity on day one. If you want to start for financial freedom, that's perfectly valid. If you simply want to challenge yourself, that's a good enough reason too. Don't wait for a perfect ideal to jump in. At the start, your reason is just the spark. What matters more is whether you're ready to let that spark grow, evolve, and burn continuously over time. Initial motivation doesn't determine the end result. Someone who starts just to make a quick sale might end up committed for a decade. Along the way, you'll change. The product changes. The goal changes. But you'll change too. What you thought was your reason will fade and be replaced with deeper ones. Connection with users, friendship with teammates, joy from seeing your product help someone. Startups are journeys of constantly regenerating motivation. Curiosity is one of the purest and most powerful forms of motivation. If you've ever wondered, am I suited for a startup? That's the first step. You don't need certainty to begin. You just need the desire to experience, to know what it feels like to launch your first product, to try fundraising for the first time, to test your limits. Startups aren't for those who need guarantees. They're for those brave enough to enter the unknown. And curiosity is the first guiding torch. Real motivation doesn't appear at the starting line. It shows up in the middle of sleepless nights, in moments between failure and fragile success. Sustainable drive comes from emotional connection to the problem you're solving. From the feeling that I have to do this, even when no one's asking. And from an unexplainable belief that your product might actually make a difference. When that happens, you no longer need someone to push you. You'll be pulling others along. A startup is a test of whether you can turn vague motivation into real energy. Some days you'll have no customers, no revenue, no encouragement. But if you're still excited, still want to keep going, you're on the right track. Motivation doesn't need to explode, it just needs not to fade. Don't force yourself to have the right reason. Instead, draw from what truly keeps you up at night. That's what will carry you through the hardest days. Part 3. The mindset for facing risks and failures. The most important question before starting isn't, will I succeed? But can I survive if I fail? This isn't philosophy, it's strategy. Clearly, describe your worst-case scenario. A year without salary, a product no one uses, no improvement in your reputation. Then ask yourself, can I endure that? If the answer is maybe, then you're ready for the real battle. A founder isn't someone who's sure of success. They're someone willing to fail and still keep moving. Silent fear is a startup's biggest enemy. If you can't handle risk, anxiety becomes a ghost that follows you every day. It makes you hesitate. It makes you make half-hearted decisions. It makes you work just to avoid mistakes instead of creating value. A founder must face risk head-on. No dodging, no denial. Only when you accept that failure is part of the journey can you gain the mental freedom to create and act without limits. Startups aren't a game of high probability. They're a game of learning fast and constantly adapting. Failure is inevitable, but not meaningless. Each stumble resets your compass. You learn who truly believes in you. You learn that the market doesn't care who you are, it only cares how you help. You learn your limits aren't fixed. The failed are not the losers. They're the ones who quit before finishing the lesson. The ability to survive failure is a long-term competitive edge. As a founder, you learn everything. How to sell, how to build products, how to retain users, how to lead. Even if your startup fails, you'll possess valuable experience the market always needs. Some companies even prefer hiring ex-founders as a sign of initiative and accountability. A failed startup doesn't ruin your career. On the contrary, it might open doors that no other path would have led you to. If you can stand back up after failure and still believe, you've overcome the toughest challenge of startups. No one says failure feels good, but only those brave enough to go through that pain will find what's most valuable: resilience. A true founder doesn't define themselves by success or failure, but by their ability to keep going when everything falls apart. This isn't just a game of ideas or capital. It's a game of unbreakable spirit. Part 4. How to prepare and find startup ideas. Ideas don't fall from the sky. They come from contact, from life, from dialogue. Don't sit alone trying to think up a breakthrough startup. Start with conversations with people who spark new thoughts in you. If you know someone who always makes you think deeper, keep them close. That person might be your future co-founder. Good ideas often come not when you're searching for them, but when you're diving into passionate, challenging conversations. Don't separate idea finding from co-founder finding. They go hand in hand. Alone, you'll always doubt your ideas, but when someone else debates with you, everything becomes clearer. Early ideas are usually incomplete. They're seeds, needing someone to cultivate with you. The people you collaborate well with push your thinking. That's your ideal co-founder. Successful startups don't come from big ideas, but from the right partnership at the right time. Environment fuels idea generation. If you're in a place where people avoid risks, fear debate, and dread failure, you'll struggle to be creative. Find a place where ideas fly every day, where people think differently, try differently, act differently. Small startups are great training grounds. You'll see everything from the inside: coding, fundraising, customer conversations. This experience not only gives you a broad perspective, but also helps you find potential co-founders. Good ideas often start from frustration. When you encounter a terrible product, a ridiculous process, or a neglected problem, you'll want to fix it. Take note of such moments. They're the raw material for ideas. Ask, why hasn't anyone done this better? What's preventing change? If you keep facing the same annoyance, it might be an opportunity. Successful startups don't come from flashy tech, but from solving a small issue thoroughly. Don't just think, build. An untested idea is still a fantasy. Start with a tiny version. Try building it over a weekend, or tell a few potential users and observe their reactions. If they're indifferent, iterate. If their eyes light up, go further. Each test helps refine the idea. Don't wait for perfect readiness. The market won't wait. What matters isn't what idea you have, but whether you dare to make it real, even if it's small or rough. Part 5. When to start a startup. The best time to start isn't when you're certain. It's when you can't wait any longer. Observe how people respond to your side project. Has anyone truly loved it? Has anyone said your product changed how they work or live? One passionate user who uses your product daily and gives constant feedback is more valuable than thousands of inactive signups. When you see real impact, even if small, it's a strong signal. You might have a true startup seed. A love for the process of building is a powerful signal. If you feel alive working nights on your side project while your day job drains you, listen to that. Not everyone can handle risk. But if building products, talking to users, and testing, revising, experimenting excites you, you're touching the essence of startups. Startups don't begin with certainty. They begin with energy you can't ignore. The right partner is a strong reason to start. Someone you trust, understand, and share values with is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Co-founders are hard to find. Some talented people won't be a fit. Some good fits won't be brave enough. If you find someone with both skill and fire ready to journey with you, don't hesitate. A startup led by a truly bonded team has a higher chance of success than any business model. Don't wait until you have enough money, enough skills, enough certainty to begin. That moment doesn't exist. If you have an idea a few people care about, a partner to join you, and the ability to survive 6 to 12 months with no income, that's enough. Startups aren't for perfectionists, they're for the bold. If you wait for ideal conditions, you'll stay on the sidelines. But if you dare to enter, you'll create ideal conditions along the way. The timing is never clear, but your inner voice will speak. That's when you can't bear not doing it. When you think about your product constantly, even while eating or sleeping. When you stop needing motivation because the fire is already burning. If you feel that way, don't delay. Starting doesn't mean quitting everything in one day. Starting means committing, taking the first step, and every step after brings you closer to your own dream. Part 6. Core principles for starting up the right way. Starting a business doesn't require you to become someone else. You don't need to prove anything to the world before beginning. What you need is initiative. The initiative to try, the initiative to fail, the initiative to fix. It's okay if your idea isn't perfect. It's okay if your product is incomplete. The only real failure is not acting. Don't define success by the outcome. Define it by whether you dared to start. Because only those who act while things are still unclear have the ability to turn dreams into tangible reality. If you're looking for the best advice to start a startup, here it is. Start. No reason is more valid than feeling the time has come. No situation is more fitting than the inner urge. The market doesn't care about your reason. Users don't care why you're building. They only care if you solve their problem. Start with something small, a conversation, a side project, a piece of code, or a survey. Every tiny step could lead you to something no one imagined. Experience is a byproduct of action. The sooner you act, the faster you learn. Every obstacle adds a new layer of skill. Every bit of harsh feedback is a chance to improve. Don't wait to be good enough. Only by starting will you have the opportunity to become truly good. School teaches you knowledge. Startups teach you grit. No curriculum can replace real experience, and no success comes to those who watch from the sidelines. Want to be skilled? Take action. Want to grow? Dive in. The startup journey isn't for everyone, but it might be for you. If you see yourself in these reflections, believe in your ability to begin. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't wait for validation. The question isn't, should you start a business, but do you have enough curiosity, enough grit, and enough courage to try? If the answer is yes, don't delay. Don't look back next year and regret never stepping forward. Start today, because it's the only day you truly control. Not everyone who starts a business succeeds, but no one who succeeds ever did so without starting. A startup can be a launchpad to greatness or a pit that brings you down. Some call it a golden opportunity. Others say it's a game for the naive. Are you stepping in for passion or just running from monotony? Is failure really a lesson or just too high a price for delusion? When everyone tells you to go for it, how many dare to say, maybe you shouldn't? Startups aren't for everyone, but maybe, just maybe, one is waiting for you. Thank you for watching the whole video. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.